Assigned my team to see what can we do to close some of the holes and gaps in the law, because my intention is to lift up and make sure the insurance that people buy is effective, that it's actually going to deliver what they think they're purchasing.
Maybe a little late for that. That was President Obama on Thursday night, acknowledging the many problems associated with the health care rollout, admitting at one point some serious repairs are in order, but with no details on exactly how or when that could happen. Which party stands to benefit the most as attention turns to the midterm elections a year from now? Joining us now, Ellen Ratner, who is a Fox News contributor, bureau chief for Talk Radio News Service. Ron Bonjean is a former communications director to former Speaker Dennis Hastert. Good to see you both.
Thank
Ellen,
you. Great to see you.
You know, Ellen, the president spent 3.5 years making a promise that turns out to be false, but now he claims, well, I never really said that. He's saying there was always a caveat, an if, and I didn't really mean that everybody could keep their plan. But look, Ellen, people are smart. Isn't he compounding the deception with another deception?
Look, he probably shouldn't have said what he said, and he probably shouldn't have said what he said this time. But the point is if, in fact, they can get the problems fixed, and if people can access health care, that will be very good for the midterm elections. If they don't get it fixed, it's going to be very bad for the Democrats in the midterm elections.
Yeah. You know, Ron, all of a sudden now, we heard it in the soundbite, the president is saying, hey, I'm open to changes in the law. Right. After, of course, being adamant in his refusal to do so. But here's the question. How do you fix millions of canceled policies? Because carriers have literally quit the marketplace. They're gone. United Healthcare and Aetna, they have left California, for example.
Right. No, that's absolutely right. This is like the BP oil spill for America. Every day we're seeing and hearing something about Obamacare that is bad. The website's not working. Millions of Americans are losing their health insurance plan because they were promised something they're not going to get. And it's going to affect Democrats in the 2014 election if this isn't fixed. Look, even if the website's fixed, there's still going to be lots of problems. I mean, look, these guys are running an insurance superstore, and if they can't run a website, what makes people think that they're going to be able to run the largest health insurance, the largest health insurance exchange across America? I mean, only 5 people signed up for Washington, D.C.'s health insurance exchange. That was announced yesterday. So I think, yeah, President Obama certainly is open to some changes now, and I think the Democrats are going to start knocking at his door, and that's already beginning, but I think that's going to get louder and louder.
And Ellen, speaking of which, 15 Democratic senators showed up in the Oval Office this week to give the president what we understand to be a real earful.
For sure, and they were not happy, and 14 of those or 12 of those, I don't know the exact numbers, are up actually for re-election. They weren't very happy. But on the other hand, you're trying to make a dent in 1/6 to 1/7 of the American economy. And we do know that Medicare works very well. So we know that it can work well. They just really have to fix it.
If 6 of those guys that showed, and women, who showed up at the Oval Office and gave them an earful, if they lose their seats, Republicans can take over the U.S. Senate. So
that's true.
Isn't it true that Obamacare, Ellen, could change the course of Congress?
It can change the course of Congress in both ways. It can lose a lot of elections if they fix it and people in 2 years feel very satisfied with their health care. It can make the election for the Democrats.
Have you talked to any tech experts? Because we've talked to quite a few, and they say November 30 fix, forget about it.
Listen, I've tried to get on the New York State site many times. I finally got on, went off to look up a number, tried to get back on. It was hopeless. I've not been able to get back on since. And that was the New York State one. So I'm not saying there's not problems, but I can say that and I was one of those United Healthcare members paying about $2,000 a month individually. So I'm all up for the exchange. And if it works, it will be great.
You know what, Ron? Millions are losing their plans. Americans. Others are outraged at being forced to buy something they don't want or need at a much higher price. Young people don't seem to be buying into the system. You know, there's obviously, as Ellen mentioned, chaos on the government website. And in the end, guess what? According to the CBO, there's still going to be 31 million Americans uninsured a decade from now. I mean, when you look back at this whole thing, was it just not thought through and kind of jammed through a la Nancy Pelosi? Let's just do it and figure it out later?
Well, it certainly looks like it was a bridge too far, and this law is not ready for prime time. And look, you know, if the website's not ready by November 30th, there's another promise broken and more incompetence that is, you know, communicated to Americans. And you know what? You're right. Lots of young people aren't signing up for it, and the uninsured are ignoring it. And frankly, all they're hearing is negative messages about it. And the insurance companies could likely walk away from this thing sooner rather than later, which could set up a whole battle between the White House and insurance companies.
All right, Ron Bonjean, Ellen Ratner, good to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.